Good evening. It's Thursday, December 7th, 2017. Zoning Board of Appeals will come to order. First on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call for the meeting.
John Glenn.
George Slingo.
William LePage.
William LePage Jr.
Roberto Cini.
Okay, we have a public hearing for John and Betty Balkerna. Applicant is appealing that the structure on Chatterton property was not built on the same footprint and is bigger in size and is 2 stories. Proper procedures were not followed. Would you please come up? Thank you.
No, we have our 5 members.
Could I get a copy of that? Thank you.
That's a stand. Okay, all right.
Yes, you are. You can have my copy. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to this? Would you please state your name for the record?
John Balkerna. Okay. On January 29, 2015, Nelson ordered to take down the barn. Okay?
Yep.
On February 13th, couldn't issue a demo permit because Chatterton's back taxes weren't paid.
Mm-hmm.
May 5th, 15, Nelson left message for Matt to call him and has to pay back taxes to get the demo permit. May 22nd, Nelson spoke with Matt and he promised to pay the taxes for the demo permit. June 12th, Matt paid taxes, got building permit. What happened to the demo permit? He ordered it to take it down.
Mr. Chairman, can I answer that? What happened is originally, first of all, I inherited this problem. Then when I got it, I addressed the problem. And I see Matt, and originally, he did say he was going to tear the building down. So then I went with Mike from the Historical Society, Coniff, what's his last name, Mike's on the Historical, anyways. We went there, and because the Historical Society has to give you permission to tear it down, and he did. In the meanwhile, like you say, he hadn't paid his taxes, so I couldn't issue a permit. Then, later on, and he had every right to, he changed his mind, he decided he wanted to rebuild the barn. I think, and I don't want to speak for him, but I think what happened is he realized there's a right-of-way that goes through the center of the property's long. His best bet was to rebuild the barn, because if he didn't, he would never be able to build anything else on a property in any decent location. So I understood that, and again, he has every right, so he changed his mind, and he took out a building permit. So I think that answers your question of what happened to the demo. There never was one issue.
That doesn't answer my question. That's not a satisfactory answer.
Well,
Okay.
excuse
On January
me,
29th,
excuse-
notes in order to
wait a
remove
minute,
the barn.
excuse me, sir. I've got a question. Now, why isn't that a satisfactory answer?
Because he's going this way, he's going that way. He's going whichever way the wind blows.
Who is?
Nelson. He changes his mind too often.
Can I say this? I didn't change my mind. The homeowner changed his mind, which he had a right to, and I can't tell him he can't change his mind, so I don't know what you're
To
saying.
me, that's not satisfactory. I believe what the man said. We even shook hands on some of it. And he turned around and he slapped me in the face with it. When he had to see... Can I go just a little bit further?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, on January 29th, Nelson ordered to remove the barn, saying it was a threat to life and public safety. Okay? Contact the office within 10 days. On February 13th, Chatterton applied for a renovation or additional approval, asking to replace the roof and 2 walls. As of May 15th, Matt owned back taxes and could not get a demo permit. How can he get any other permit?
Is there a,
You want me to answer that?
yeah.
He paid his back taxes.
Can I ask a question? The building
Could you
was
please state your name?
Betty Balcona. He was supposed to tear it down. You ordered him to tear it down. How can they,
You need to speak up a little bit, because people in the back can't hear you.
I said, he was supposed to tear it down. Even the Stroke Society said that it had to come down. So how can he get a reconstruction permit when it was unsafe and it should come down?
Mr. Chairman, can I add to that?
Please.
It's not quite right what she's saying. The Historical Society never said that whether it has to or not has to come down. That's not their purview. What he did say is that he would allow it to be taken down because it didn't have any historical value.
That's not what he told us. He told us he recommended that the bond gotta come down. It's a safety hazard. That's the Historical Society.
But the Historical Society doesn't have the right to say what's unsafe and what's not safe.
It would only be myself and
Building
the fire
inspector
chief.
said it wasn't safe.
I agree. I said it wasn't safe and something
Right.
had to be done. Yep. It had
Oh,
to be
nothing
made.
was done with that.
My exact statement, it has to be made safe and secure. A person has a lot of ways to make something safe and secure. May take it down, they may rebuild it, whatever. I mean, it's not up to me to tell you what you're gonna do, as long as you do make it safe and secure. And that's what I've been saying right along, and I'm gonna continue to say it, because it's part of my language, safe and secure.
Okay, on March 5th, the taxes were paid. On June 12, 2015, replaced damaged roof and 2 walls. On the same sheet, August 19, 2016, over a year later, amendment to repair all walls. Now, he wanted to break 2 walls and a roof.
Mr. Chairman.
I mean, this is going on for a long time.
Obviously.
What took place there, just so you people will understand, I agree with what he's saying. He said he was going to take down 2 walls and redo the roofs. Mr. Chatterton was supposed to leave the same foundation and build on the same foundation. Then he found out that the foundation wasn't as good as he thought, and he ended up putting sonotubes in, and he did rebuild the whole barn, which he would have a right to rebuild the whole barn as long as he did it within the 2 years. But again, he changed his mind. But the only thing I didn't like that he did, and he knows it, and we worked it out because we had to work something out, is I hadn't got the as-built, but luckily he did have an as-built, but it was to scale. I wish it was a little more detailed, but I mean, you could scale it and tell where it was. And I had seen the bond, so I knew he put it back basically in the same spot. And then I did get him to give me an as-built to show that it is in the same spot. And that's what took place. But I mean, I couldn't control that because I didn't know he was gonna change the foundation. You know what I mean? I don't think he really knew, but he really should've, he should've made me aware of it before he did it, and he did it, and then he made me aware of it, but, you know.
Excuse me,
You
the
gotta come to
as,
some type of conclusion, you know?
the as-built was done after the bond was taken down.
He had an as-built on a building from 1970, what is it, 74? Revised in 78. 78, and yeah, 1978.
What's, there's no dimensions on there. You put dimensions on there.
I agree there's no dimensions on there. I just explained that there's a scale, 1/4 inch to the foot, and I scaled it. And I wrote the dimensions from the 1/4 inch to the foot. You're right.
But that's an assessor's map.
No,
That's
that's,
a-
no, that's a registered
Yeah, but
plot.
he got right to do that?
Yeah,
Come on now.
He scaled it out, wrote the size
You
on
gotta do
there.
something.
Yeah, you can scale it out.
sure he can.
That's not,
Can I ask a question through the chair to Nelson? You said he realized the foundation wasn't as good as he thought, so he added sonotubes.
Yeah, he put sonotubes there, because it was an old stone foundation, but it was fairly solid. And I agreed that he could use it, but then he ended up not using it. He put sonotubes, what, 10-inch sonotubes?
Totally in place of the foundation.
A lot of the bond was just sitting on deck.
Now, isn't there some kind of a ruling that you gotta be 14 feet from somebody's, from the line, from somebody's property?
Can I explain that one too?
I'm asking this gentleman, please.
Well, I'm the
asking-
building commissioner and the zoning officer.
he's
what-
the zoning enforcement officer.
But see, I'm asking you. That's why I'm here. I paid all this money to come here, talk to the appeals board.
Okay,
All right, I'm talking to the appeals board.
okay?
He can make up any story he wants. He's told me so many things over the years that never come true. That's why we're here,
Okay.
to talk to you people, not to him. The answers I'd like to get from you. I don't care what he says.
Well, I do, because he's the enforcing officer.
He's the enforcing officer.
So I care what he says,
He tells
as a
me-
matter of determining what the facts are.
You don't care what I say?
I certainly do, but I'm interested in what he has to say just as much.
How come he can tell me one thing on a Monday, come back on Tuesday and change his mind, come back on Wednesday and change his mind again? He's never given me a straight answer.
That's an allegation only. Give me some facts.
I just did. You
What?
got the papers
gave me
in front of
this-
you.
You gave me this, I can read, go ahead. So what
got the
now?
other stuff.
So what now, sir?
What now?
What now? What do you want us to
I
do?
want the town to be accountable for what's going on.
Could you be a little more specific?
The man's afraid of Chattertons. He told me that.
He's afraid of what?
He's afraid of the Chattertons. He told me that in my own driveway. When he gave the cease and desist order, and we shook hands, I says, that's fine. Now, he is afraid of him. He'd be a man if
can
he'll
I answer
admit
that
it.
too? I'll choose to answer that. If I was afraid of him, I wouldn't give him a cease and desist. If I was afraid of him, I wouldn't make him fix his building. If I was afraid of him, I am the only person in this town that made him do something with that building. How long was that building there? How many complaints did you make before I came to this town? I'm the only one that was decent to you, and then you treat me like this.
Treat you like this.
You don't know when people try to help you out. You
You never
can't
try to help
reason
me
with
out.
you.
You
You
never
don't
gave me a
listen to
straight-
people. You don't listen to explanations.
Please.
So I'm talking to you guys. If I knew I was gonna end up talking to him, I would've never did this.
As far as your answer, if the building is non-conforming, you're allowed to put the back up in the same spot.
Who knows it's in the same spot?
How do you know?
How do we know it's in the same spot?
We scaled it out based on the plot plan he submitted that was revised in 78.
How did he do it? Show me how you did it.
Can I answer?
Yeah.
I let you talk. We scaled it off of this plot plan and we scaled it off the new as-built, and it's exactly in the same spot.
The new as-built was done after.
It doesn't matter when it was done, it's
Both of
exactly in the
It
same
is where it
spot.
It has to be
is.
done after, sir.
Excuse me?
It has to be done after to make sure that it complies with
Yeah.
the new plan.
After the building is
and matches
complete.
up with the old one.
Can you show me how he did that, how he scaled it out?
He didn't, a surveyor did.
The surveyor didn't do it.
He marked it while I was in the
He
office.
did it himself. He marked the print. Okay? He marked it.
Can you go
If the surveyor did it, who's the surveyor?
grab a scale and
He- he
explain it
Hey.
to this
told
guy
me he
how it's
did.
done?
He told me he marked it.
He's gonna grab a scale and he's gonna explain to you.
Okay, now who's the surveyor? He says the surveyor did it.
Norman and Leathers.
That was in '78, and then you got
That's
Mark
who did it,
LaPrade.
originally.
Right, and Mark LaPrade, who did day 5, the property line, was the one that did the as-built.
I didn't do anything other than mark out what I scaled.
You wanna explain this one? Phil, explain it to them.
Bring
Bring it right up to him.
Where's the other one?
There's a woman in the back. You want to speak of the old one or the new one?
Is this the certified?
Yeah.
It says as-built, yeah.
If you need it like this, I have to do it like this.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, yeah. It says that if you can read it, I can't read it. That's weird.
So, I guess, so he's not satisfied.
Wait, this is the same one that we have.
Building inspector's ruling. I got it, I saw it.
We already got an opinion from town council on it. It can be 6 inches over and it's still.
Yeah, it's within, it's within.
So how many
It's
feet is it?
reasonable. So,
How many feet, 3/4?
John, as far as going up, you can go up to 35 feet.
yeah, it's allowed.
It's allowed.
Quarter of an inch, but it's 10 feet off the line. It'd be here, quarter inch, 10 feet off the line.
He drew that on there. Nelson wrote that on there.
Doesn't it create, yeah,
So I can do this.
yeah.
We did it as a stamp plan, so we accepted this as an official document. It doesn't matter whose it was. This is in the same exact spot on here as it is on
But
here.
he marked
Scale.
on that one.
Is it,
Nelson marked.
Hey, Mr. Chairman,
he said he did.
Mr. Chairman, George, not only did I mark it, I wrote my name on it to say that I marked it. I mean, yeah, I marked it, and I wrote my name on it. I mean, I'm not denying I marked it,
He scaled it out and wrote
you know?
this on here. That's all.
I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all.
Well, it's right here in black and white.
It's right there in black and white, but
Just showing you.
I think it's illegal.
Okay.
Oh, you have, good, good.
It's not illegal, sir. Anybody can scale any print.
He's talking about this here where Nelson wrote these numbers. He scaled it all, wrote 10 feet, blah, 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 12 there. Because he scaled it out, just wrote the numbers, so he thinks that Nelson did this document that was from back in 1978 or something.
Stamp right there.
Yeah, we'll just leave that.
All right. Okay, can we talk to the abutters or the person? Mr.
Owner.
Chair? The owner? State your name for the record, please.
Matthew Chatterton.
He's not the owner. Sam is his wife. He's not the owner.
Let me say this, his wife said that he could sign a permit form or speak for him. She told us that at a meeting. So I don't have a problem with it, I don't know.
You can sit,
Please sit up. State your name for the record, please.
Samantha Chatterton.
Okay,
Matthew Chatterton.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anything that you like to challenge or add?
What was it? It's just stuff about these notes. I mean, they're just made up. The neighbor that they stated in here didn't live at that address at the time. What's that?
Go ahead.
What's that?
Just talking about the project. What will you speak for that?
We did everything that Nelson asked to do. He asked for, like you said, we should have done the preliminary, is what it was called, and I showed him the plot plan. So, you know, it's already showing where it is, and he accepted that. You know what I mean? So, because of all the complaints, we got the as-built sooner than later, just to confirm that, basically.
Yeah, every notice that we received through the mail, we addressed. Shortly thereafter, there would be a differing issue, I believe, generated by the bulk earners. As soon as one issue was corrected, they would jump to another one. So whenever this project commenced, it's just been problems galore, nonstop.
All the copies of their files are
And we used Mark LaPrade because he did the survey on 5 Day Road on that property line behind the barn. So it was just easier. He already had control, you know. It was so, and he actually already had the barn in his computer, so it was like a double check. You know what I mean? So it was, but we had to go through the motions because that's what you have to do. So.
Yeah, whenever a new building's built, you need to.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to get it out cheap. Like, you already have it, just show me but he had to come out and do it. And
Chairman,
Here's what it is.
Well, I've got a chance, and I'm doing this on purpose. I've asked him a few times. The only thing I request and ask at this meeting, if he can, is try to hurry your bond up as
Absolutely,
quickly as
yeah.
you can if you get the okay, because I think the quicker it's accomplished and finished, the
Right.
better. You have been working on it, but I'd like to
It's
see
just
it.
me, yeah, and I work in Boston, so I'm doing the best I can. You know, it's money, it's time. Definitely not milking it. I wish it was done, but it's just me, so.
Any questions from the board?
I got some questions.
Any questions from the board?
No.
Okay.
It's supposed to be built in the same footprint.
Can you have him come up, speak to the
You need to-
microphone?
You need to come up to the mic, please.
It's supposed to be built in the same footprint. Now, the old barn was 1 story. This is 2 story.
We have a decision from our town council on that, and it said, he states that they can make it, you can go higher.
Who's the town council?
Mr. Brackett.
Mr. Brackett?
Yep. Of Brackett and Lucas.
Excuse me?
Of Brackett and Lucas.
I have one question. So, what is the height limit?
35 feet.
35.
35 feet to the roof line, and then okay. So, that's what Nelson said before. I just want to make sure. Cool.
It's actually to the eaves, so your roof,
Exactly.
it could actually be more, you know what I mean?
To answer his question further, through the chair, as long as you stay within the same footprint and you don't go beyond the 35 feet, if you have a 1-story building, you can go up 2 stories as long as it's in the same footprint and you're not enlarging it. If that answers your question.
Doesn't. That doesn't answer your question?
No,
Could I ask a question? That doesn't answer your question?
no, not really.
Okay.
From the line, you went so much. You measured it out, right? Calculated out. How about the length
Showed it to you.
and the width? That wasn't done.
I just showed you that.
You showed me from the,
No, I showed you the building. I showed you the building. I can show you again if you'd like.
yeah, I'd like to,
Sure.
want to go over that?
I have a question. It was supposed to be done within 2 years. It started in January 2015. This all started.
Mr. Chairman, it's pre-existing non-conforming. It takes in if the building is abandoned, it has to be started within 2 years. As far as the building permit itself and the building, as long as it says in the building code, as long as he works on it diligently and every like 3 weeks, 30 days, whatever, which he's been doing. So when she says 2 years, she's not quite correct. It's if it was already down, you would have to start it in 2 years. And I think that's what she's referring to, so she's a little confused.
You understand that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the footprint itself, that means also, like, you couldn't add like a deck on the outside of it, right? Because that counts as the footprint?
No, you can't put a deck on the outside.
You cannot.
We went through too.
Okay.
And we got the opinion from town council on that same.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask since
Why
we're,
do we
yeah,
have,
since we're here, cool, all right.
People come up with lasers and
I just showed you points.
why don't they just use that and save a lot of money?
Because legally, they have to go out and resurvey to verify it.
He
They
did
can't just
use,
do it off-
he did use sophisticated equipment when he did his as-built that last time.
The as-built was
Use the
supposed to be
lasers.
done before, you told me. You said because they didn't get an as-built, nobody in there would ever go and do it. You told me that face to face.
When I said that, I did not know he had an as-built, and then he showed me from 74, and he does have one, and it can be scaled, and a reasonable person would accept that, and I'm a reasonable person, and I accepted it.
Is there any questions for any other people?
I have something to add.
Could you
So
please state your name?
My name is Hillary Goyette.
You need to sit.
Oh, into the, okay. Can you hear me? My name is Hillary Goyette. I live at 3 Day Road. And just in this paperwork, it says that my ex-husband, Thomas Goyette, was complaining about, I think it's page 4, stopped by the office inquiring what was going on. The handwritten notes, it says, number 2, May 5th, 2015. He wasn't living at our house at that time. We got a divorce, and he was out of the house in March. So he wasn't living there at that time. So I don't know where this information came from, honestly. I just wanted to...
My handwriting, I wrote this out, and I
Okay.
got most of the information from my secretary, and she had written it down somewhere, so.
Okay. All right. Well, that answers that. But I don't know how he could complain when he wasn't living at the house, or I don't know where it came
Yeah,
from.
Maybe she got the wrong day, I really don't know.
But it still might have been his legal address, and he might have got a notification.
That's possible, too.
It's possible. It's possible. But he hasn't been living there since March of that
You
year.
might have been notified as an abutter.
Okay.
And having been divorced, funny things happen with divorces.
Isn't that the truth,
Uh-huh.
sir? All right. Thank you.
Here's something else.
Yeah, I'm
One
speaking.
of our-
You need to come up.
In one of our conversations with Nelson, he says he was doing him a favor. Now, is that legal? I mean, that's fine, doing favors?
Mr. Chairman, I really resent this, and it's being taped, and I do no one favors, and I'm gonna say it right in the public TV, that I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll tell you what, I don't recollect nothing like that. I'm an honest man, and I'm really not liking what you're saying, because I don't know if you're making it up. I know you're bitter towards the neighbor. You're not making any sense at all tonight, and I don't know what else to say.
Well,
I can add to that, just sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, like.
You need to come up to the microphone,
Sorry,
please.
Just stick up for him. I mean, he, if anything, he was a ball buster. You know what I mean? He was a pain in my butt. So he didn't do me any favors whatsoever. I didn't like him for a while. But he's,
Him
you
and-
know,
him-
but he's
him-
doing what he's, I understand why he was
has a
doing
job
what he
to
was
do.
doing.
Because we
Totally
really did
understood
go,
why.
him and I did go at it. I mean, we
Absolutely.
really did.
Because it was just nonstop, but I understand why. I understand why.
well,
You have anything else to add?
yeah, said he was doing favors. He's not a man to admit it. We were sitting down in his office with, who's the other guy? The treasurer, Bulker?
His
Town manager
boss,
he's talking
his
about.
boss.
Greg.
Oh, right.
Greg, I think asked him to leave his office, I'm pretty sure, and he had a meeting with him too. And we did sit down with a meeting with Greg.
And he said right in front of his boss, he was doing him a favor. Then he says, I'm doing you a favor. I said, you're not doing me any
Point of
favor.
order.
Mr. Chairman, that's pure conjecture. There's no validity to it. If you have the proof, sir, I'd love to hear it and see it. Bring me something solid so we can look into it. But as far as I can see and hear, that's just hearsay to me. And
Everything he's saying is hearsay.
please, let me finish. Mr. Nelson is here tonight, and I feel honestly that, I feel like he's on trial.
I thought for sure you
no.
guys would question him.
No.
He's doing this guy a favor. How many other favors is he
Again,
doing?
please refrain from saying that. Favor is not the word I want to hear.
the
The
word
man
he
answered your
used.
point of order, Mr. Chairman. Please. The man is not on trial, sir.
No, but that's what he told me.
I
Are you calling
understand.
me a liar?
I'm not calling anybody a liar. Please refrain. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll make a motion. Close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion's been made and second to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
None.
Motion carries. Thank you.
So we've got 60 or 90 days to make a decision. Or 30. What's the rule on that?
We have 60 days.
Okay.
Just issue it now and get-
Absolutely.
Let's go.
I make a motion that we deny the petitioner's request to reverse the building inspector's decision relative to the footprint of the property in question.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda,
Mr. Chairman, can I just say, your decision's been made. The two new guys on the board, I want to thank you. And I know Greg, the town manager, would want to thank you because there was definitely a need. I know it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. You don't get paid. And the town wants to thank you for accepting the positions. I know that for a fact.
Thank you.
Because it's a tough job, thankless job, and, you don't get paid for it. And I wanted to tell you that.
okay, is there anything,
Motion was made to deny the petitioner's request to revise the decision relative to the footprint of the property. Type that up.
is there anything else? Nope, just a copy of the town bylaws. Which we're
I'm
gonna,
gonna get a binder.
okay, motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second. Motion's been made and second to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye.
I did. He did.